Rhino Rugby is out here helping the Japanese and US Sevens teams prepare for the Olympic Games in Paris, France. One big difference between rugby is the sport of sevens and the sport of 15s. And sevens is 7 players, 7-minute halves. Total game time 14 minutes. It's always very high scoring. And then you have 15s, which I'm going to shoot tomorrow and show you guys, which is the San Diego Legion. They play 15 players on the field at once, 2 40-minute halves. Depending upon the audio of this, I will shoot this inside. It is quite windy today. It's also very hot. Let's talk a little bit about how we shoot this game. You guys can see the post behind me, the tri-post. We have this field here. You can see how narrow it is. The ball is scored lengthwise. They want to get the ball as close to underneath the tri-post as possible. That allows them the easiest kick. For 15s, it's an automatic 2-point try. And sevens, you have to kick. But this is also where I'm going to photograph the game from, because we're going distance of the field. Sevens is a very fast rugby game. You want to be able to capture them as they're scoring tries. The best way of doing that is being on either side of the field. Okay, guys, let's talk a little bit about culling and editing. I apologize at first for the fan that you might hear in the background. Have a little PC fan blowing. It is very, very hot today. Down at the field, it was over about 90 plus degrees. It's like 115 in my car, so very hot day. I want to show you guys how I do everything. This is going to be sample 1 of how you guys can cull and edit using Photo Mechanic, and this is the slower option. I have not rated any files at the field, and I need to get this done relatively quickly because the client wants photos. So this is going to be a quick run through of how you can do your selects using Photo Mechanic. So we're going to open the first image. First off, let me just double check that that is the first image. We're going to go up to sort, and we're going to go by capture time. Okay, and as you can see, that isn't. I took about 4,200 images today. So let's go to the first image here. Okay, so I'm going to use the T to tag and the right arrow to quickly go through my images. So coach is looking over game film from yesterday's game against Japan. So quickly I want to make sure I get a few photos of him talking to the boys, pointing at the screen. Got a few good frames here. So far I've selected 4 frames. I like this. You got a little eye contact. So I'm just going to take the mouse here and I'm just going to scroll because I have a bunch. Here's a little bit of a different angle here. His hand is blurred because of how hot it was there. I had to shoot from shade into sun to make sure I captured the players in the little pre-match meeting here. So you want to make sure you have a variety of images. Of course, his hand is slow due to the shutter speed that I used. So this is a better photo here. There's no movement. Makes it look a little bit more normal. And then to show you guys, this is it from the back side. So I was trying to shoot high. This I can crop a little. I just wanted a few shots of the banner the high performance banner. Here I was trying to see if I could get the coach. You can kind of see him over here, but it's not good enough. So I went back around over here to the side to get a few other images. So instead of using the left or right, I'm just going here based off of the mouse. Just looking for some cool images. I was trying to focus on his face, see if I could get it. It kept focusing on the dude over here on 18. Here's part of one of my vlog videos today that you'll see. You can't really watch videos in Photo Mechanic, so that's just one thing to note. I like this frame. This frame will work. Okay, there's nothing else from that aspect. This is where they're training, so they're doing warm-ups here. So this is like frame by frame of what I was shooting. So I was shooting in RAW here, and that allows me to get about 100 photos per burst before I buffer. So you have to really be paying attention to see what number you are. Okay, so this is what I wanted. These are much cooler shots to get wide angle here, get close. So these are all shot with a 16mm on the R3. Dude's doing the same, but it kind of just looks weird because it's all butt. This is what I was waiting for here. Push-ups. This, I put the camera on the ground and I used the door and rotated it down so that I could get that more of an angled shot. Just a few more warm-up photos. They're mostly here to scrimmage the US team. So I went and I looked at all the images that I sent them yesterday. They only put one warm-up shot in on social. So today I'm really honestly just looking for a few cool close-up images. Getting the boys. I went over to get some water shots. You know, my favorite thing to shoot is when they're drinking water. I'm looking for them to like go crazy and splash the water on their faces. I didn't get much of that with them. Sometimes with the African American players, the black guys, some of them will sweat profusely, and you can get some really cool sweat shots of the water just coming off their face. That's what I was looking for with this guy. He's one of their faster players, but you just can't see it from this angle. So I'm going to zoom in using this zoom to try and see. So we're going to go back a little. I want to see if I did get any water. No, like you can see this. You can see the sweat coming off his forehead. We'll go to 3 here, but it's just not. It's not enough. So it's good attempt here, but just gonna throw away these images. Now they did like their huddle shots, so I'm gonna put a few shots in here. I always like going over the back, but the majority of the time I can never get the focus to lock on the faces. So I get the forward, the backs, and the arms, and those are utilized by teams a lot. And then get some more close-ups here. Much easier to get the faces when you're using a deeper lens, such as a 2470, 2470, 7200, that type of thing. And I'm like, I can barely see the view, the screen on here the viewfinder just because of how hot it is. So I'm just trying to go through those. Okay, quickly, we're now moving on to a little warm-up here. So they're practicing their lineouts. Lineouts in sevens are particularly crazy. And there have been some super viral cheek photos from women's rugby with the Aussie team. So that's something that you'll see right here is that they're giving him a wedgie pretty much. They're picking him up by the shorts. So that's like one of the shots that you're trying to get if you're trying to shoot lineouts. If I was from the other side or from an angle. Fun shot here of Jordan warming up. So we're gonna shoot pull a couple frames from that. Now I'm quickly going to go down here. So this is a scrum. So I'm gonna do a few warm-up shots here. So the when we're talking rugby, there's a few things that you want to shoot. So specifically, as you can see here, right here, this is a good like position. You also want to get the ball coming out like this. This is a money shot. The closer to the hands, the better. So we're gonna go to the next. So I'm just grabbing a frame from that. You can see I misfocused on a few. Here is a 7 scrum. One of the kids posing for the camera. Those are always fun shots to grab. Again, here with the 400, it's much easier. I can crop. You have the face. You have the eyes. And then he's getting ready to pitch. So those are the shots that you want. He goes down, the ball comes up. The water boy told me, "Sorry, bro, I'm about to get in your way." So I'm like, "Dude, I don't mind. I can take photos of the back of your shirt." So this is something that we're thinking about sponsorship-wise. Rhino Rugby Academy pathway to college. So that's something that I can shoot. This is also the Rugby 10s, their hat. So that's always look at what you can shoot. Even when people walk in your way, sometimes you can get some good things out of it. It's a little post scrimmage here. Post scrimmage huddle, and we should be getting close to. Okay, yes, images of the match. So here is the portion. This is where I was telling you about the wedgie thing. But as you can see, I quite didn't nail focus, and you guys can see how hot it is here, where I can't even get it in focus. And the background's distorted, is heavily distorted. This is due to heat. So this is something that we're gonna look at. We're gonna see if I can try and pull a frame from here. I don't think that any of these, none of these frames are gonna be usable here. So I'm gonna go back to normal. And this is where we're gonna do the left or right here. So like stuff like this I can use. So that was quite interesting here. So the Rhino player thought the ref was gonna call a penalty against the US, but he did not. So he waited to start running. So you can see the hand come out kind of like stiff arm. That's kind of a cool shot. So what we're looking at here is tackles. You want faces. Ball pitches. You want faces. Like this type of shot right here is, let me zoom in. This could work for both a US and a Rhino perspective. Here's the defender going for the tackle. Here's the offensive member trying to run through him or go around. So we'll see right here what happens. He decided to pitch. So then here's a tackle. The little guy trying to bring him down, and he will. So I think this is the frame that I'm going to go with right here. Is not going to be the actual end result, but because you can see his face here and know that this is indeed a tackle. right here, there's no face. So it's not the best play that I can get. And this pass here was intercepted. So here they're trying to get the ball past the big boy. And this guy has speed. So this is a drop. This is a kick and run. So he's kicking it up the line to try and advance the ball. I do kind of like the trainer and the official in the background here. So you can see he didn't win the race. But can the big boy control the ball? He can. Okay, so here's a scrum. This is the scrum back here on the back side. This is another thing that you want to photograph. This is a perfect photograph of a scrum back pulling the ball out of the pile and then pitching it. This is a reason why with photographers we want to be a little bit behind the play. You are able to get shots like that. Then this guy should pitch too. So you get those types of plays instead. Here's the inside of a scrum. So the scrum was relatively close to me, so I'm trying to look now at photos that I wasn't able to get for other things. So that would be the guys on the end, the scrum half putting the ball down and rolling it behind. Nothing usable here. So here, this might be usable as the USA player runs in front. That, it's okay. Okay, these are going to be some good face shots here. So, I believe this was a US player who they had play for the Eagles to get him time and to have him do plays against his teammates and to try new things. So this is a nice tackle shot here by the US guy, but you see his face is kind of behind, but he's like totally in the air. So maybe like this, but this would have to be super cropped. And he's able to get out of it. So we're looking for all of the face motions. Okay, we're going to get this guy. He scored a long try for the Rhinos against Japan yesterday. He's a really talented player. Okay, here we have a U.S. scrum. So we're going to look for him to pitch back. He's going to pitch it. So right now I'm focused on defense here. Wondering if he's going to make the tackle, and he can't. So they pitch back. Another scrum shot. And as you can see here, by shooting behind the play, you can get a bunch of really good shots. This is a really big tackle right here. It just takes him out. And you got to remember, I'm shooting for Rhino. But I'm also, a big fan of Team USA. So these photos of them pitching will come in handy for whoever takes them. If you're shooting for a rugby club, this is always good because you never know who or if the player that you're photographing will ever come to your club. This dude is just strong, just running through them. Ooh, kick to the nuts right there. And he's still avoiding it and running. There's a nice wrap-up tackle. That's a perfect wrap-up tackle. So I'm trying to figure out here which direction he's going to pitch. They're going to go this way. This was close to being a try here, but one of the Team USA staffers kind of in my shot, but we'll crop here and make this work. I am not going to be able
to get the try here, just because he goes on the other side of the pole. That's just luck. He goes a little airborne to try and bring him down. And he legitimately saves a try there. That was a great play. Okay, so at this point, we are now flipped on the other side. So within the first aspect of the game, I took about 1,000 images, it looks like. This is a penalty right here. So ball comes out. And this is also one of those reasons for you guys why I think photo mechanic is so important when you are editing. Just the amount of time that it saves you guys in the whole process of culling. Like, I was talking to one of the rugby players today about this, and he's like, you took how many photos? I'm like, at international rugby tournaments, I'll take 50, 60, 70,000 photos, man. But I'm able to go through them so quickly using this process. And this is also the slower process here. I'm going to show you the faster one in the next video, or in this video if I add 15s, if I add the Legion game to it. But instead of having to go through every single photo like I'm doing right now, if you guys see a good play, like this one perhaps, as you're shooting it, rate them in camera. You don't have to do this. That makes it so much faster. Unless you guys like going through every single image that you take, which that is fine too. It's totally up to you guys and your editing style / process. And I know I did discuss here pre-video that I'm shooting lengthwise here. And this field, this facility makes it very easy to not have a very cluttered background. So here's a long try. So there are a few really good shots in here that I like. I could have shot more. Like this celebration photo right here is dynamic. I just absolutely love that image. But like I had massive image issues on this try, where I had shot a whole bunch leading up to it, and I did not allow my buffer to clear, and I could literally barely get that celebration. So that's one of the good reasons why you should shoot JPEG. This was a massive try right here by Team USA. That was the game-winning try, believe it or not. These boys get way up there here. And this was the last play of the game, I believe, of the match, or not. I mean, Rhino played very hard, and they gave Team USA absolutely everything they could handle in this match, which is good to have an extremely competitive match leading up to the Olympic Games. This is Jordan right here with the frizzy hair with the ball. He's a product of the University of San Diego and won a bunch of national titles there. Okay, so we're moving the ball across, Okay, yeah, this is the last series here. He tries to juke his teammate. I wish he would have got the stiff arm hand a little bit higher. And he manages to get around, but now it's a 1v2. And they tackle him out of bounds, and it is game over. So now I ran over, swapped out the 400, have the 70 to 200 on the R3, and I'm now shooting the post game here. I am literally in between two guys in the huddle, and I wanted to get a few shots that way. It's always good to have a few different post game shots of the coaches and players interacting. I was looking for the standout players of the match to get images of here. And then we are at our last 100 photos. Jordan clapping. Me trying to get more of a unique final "Let's go Rhinos" chant image. So we have the normal wide angle of it, and then I'm going to try and zoom in here and really not accomplish much. So that is every single image cold. Guys, in under 30 minutes, we have just looked at 4,000 plus images. So now we're going to close this out. We're going to go into the tagged photos here. And these are all of the tagged images that I am going to edit. So what I'm going to do here is Command A. I am going to rename all my photos here. So we're going to go I'm going to add an extra here. 240622 Rhino versus USA sequence variable 001. So this will start all my photos at 1, and we're going to rename all of them. So here's 1 through 156. So out of 4,200 photos, I'm probably going to keep 156. That might be whittled down here more quickly. So what I'm going to do here is move my photo mechanic to a different screen. I am going to go into my Rhino 7s, into the USA. This is a master folder here. And we're going to go into the naming, and then this should be all my photos here. Today I shot specifically in RAW just because of how sunny and hot it was out there. Shooting in RAW makes it a little bit easier to process the images. There would have been a little bit more heat banding with JPEGs, I've noticed. So what I'm going to do here is new folder. So I'm going to title this folder Rhino versus Eagles selects. This is going over to here. This, we're now going to go into the folder. We're going to select, I'm using Command A, Apple short key, hotkey to open all of them. And I'm going to edit these in Photoshop Adobe Camera Raw. So here are all of the images. Everything is loaded. My first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna highlight all of them. I'm gonna change my color profile from Adobe Color to Adobe Vivid. That's my favorite to use. I'm going to auto every single image. That's not really gonna do much here. Because of how my settings are set. I shot this pretty close to actual settings. So if we look here, lighting, it's going to bump the exposure by less than 0.1. So, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to batch edit all of the things that I like to add. So on my images, I like to do clarity in the 15 to 20 zone. Yesterday's images, I did a clarity at 19. So I want to keep those at 19 and make sure they're all even. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to start editing from the back. I like to dehaze my images a little bit. So I think this looks good. So we're going to do plus 20. So all of the photos that are not game action, I'm going to batch with the plus 20. So they all have a similar look and feel here. So then pretty much all we have to do now with these images is do a little tweaks here. You could take all the highlights out and push the shadows if you wanted to. I think the shadow here looks good at plus. I like the plus 80 looks good to me, but okay, plus 70 looks good. Okay, so I'm gonna do that with all of these shadows plus 70. So I'm gonna type it back in just so that it adds it to all of those images here. These photos I like a lot. You know, I'm gonna crop this guy a little bit here. I'm gonna crop this guy a little bit here. So as you guys can see, what I'm doing is I'm batch editing the actual exposure and highlight shadow edits. And this will allow me to edit my photos way quicker. So what I'm going to do here, I like the South African kid with the white hair. He's going to be my center. Him, I'm going to bump the highlight on. I'm going to raise my exposure a little bit. And then I'm going to vignette a little bit. Because I think that looks good for him. So I like that for him. So what I'm going to do is I am going to sync those changes to all three of those images. So then here, I'm just going to go add a little extra light in. For here, this one, I want his face more open. I'm gonna take the blacks, mess a little bit with them. Bring down the whites just a little. Okay, this here we're gonna shadow. That I like. Actually, so. And most of these photos are like pretty straight, as you guys can see. Doesn't really require a whole ton of editing. I'm going to show you how to straighten. Use A, draw the arrow, draw the line on something. I'm using the fence here in the background to keep the image straight. This I want a little closer. And voila. So in the course of a few minutes, we've edited 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 images. So we're gonna do that exact same process here with the game photos. Um, I pretty much I like the lighting on all of them, so I think the lighting on all of them is good. We might just add a little bit of a little bit of shadow on each image. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to crop for impact. So his face, ball, player coming at him. We're going for the stiff arm here. And then all I'm doing here is I'm editing it as a 2x3 image here. That way if Rhino Rugby wants to use these for their website or they want to actually send them to media, they can do that. These images can then also be edited down to 1x1s or whatever size that you guys like. I'm a big fan of 2x3s and then 1x1 with additional crop. So again, I like this. It's very wide, shows his length. I'm gonna go A to draw the line, and then this I like. So we're gonna keep at it. We're gonna see if I got his entire shoe in. I don't think I did. So all we're gonna do in this one is we're gonna crop higher. This might be a little bit of a weird crop because it's at his groin. So we'll see if I like this or not. It's a little. I'm gonna go tight. We're gonna go because I like the shot. I like his face. We're gonna go tighter, and then crop this way. So it should be fine. And then this is literally all about like how do you want to crop? You can go super tight. You can go super wide. It really just depends. Like this image right here. Here's this whole. Here, let me get this. Here, this is whole body with the ball. This image right here looks fine. I just like going the extra and cropping it because I think that's more impactful. Here's Jordan on the ground after him being tackled. So what I really want to do, I want to get it in tight on Jordan. I'm going to use the straighten on the bars. And then this kind of looks like it's a little pixelated. So it's only like that because of the heat. So what I'm going to do is zoom out just a little bit so that it doesn't look as pixelated. Here we have a tackle, so we're going to edit this. We're going... You can hand edit or draw the line. And then this you gotta brighten, you gotta open it up. I'm just checking my time here. So I have to start working my other job here in 15-ish minutes. So I'm trying to edit as quickly as possible to get a few photos turned in that they can use. So I'm going to skip ahead here. I'm not going to edit every single image. I will end up editing every single image a little bit, like in a little bit later here. Here's that celebration photo that I liked so much. So this is the 2x3 version of it. So because I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, 4 different shots, I'm gonna also provide a different crop here for Rhino. So this would be my favorite way to crop an image like this with the celebration here. We're gonna do a straight 1x1. And I'm going to open it up so you can see his face and everything. I'm going to contrast These you can play a little bit around more with the effects. Dehaze. You can see what dehazing does here. I'm not going to do much to it, but this is a really good shot. I'm really happy with it. Same with this one. And then the try shot here. His mouth guard's teeth. I like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little look into how I process and how I edit photos. Hopefully this shows you guys a little bit about editing and how we break things down. I am going to stop this video here and do some quick edits here before I have to keep working. But thank you for watching.